And this is the fourth time I've done this. And not in a row. And not because of technical issues. It's driving me nuts. I am trying to talk through and get ready to launch a knit-along for, and I've talked, you guys have watched me all the time. You know, I've been talking about this for, what, 3 months now? Finally getting ready to do it. Let me just get this out of the way. Sorry. This is Daddy's request. And let me start again. Hello. I'm Varian Brandon, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You can tell I'm flustered and I'm frustrated, but not in a bad way. Just just as like ready to go and stop. Okay, Daddy's request is what we're going to do the knit along on. It is a bottom up yoked sweater that the repeat of the yoke, excuse me, is no more than 8 stitches. So it's very easy. It's done in worsted weight wool. So it is, or worsted weight yarn. So it is very, it goes very quickly. And I've got several variations. It is a pattern I have released. I'm getting ready to release it, to update the release, because what I've added to it, and I've talked about this before too, is a cardigan. So here's the cardigan version that is got all this stuff on it, but as I said, is a cardigan version. Now because I don't like to make the same thing twice, I am doing little embellishments on various versions. The cardigan version, and you can do it on the pullover version too, is you may have noticed that I've put little bits of color on the ribbing, and also on the ribbing down the front, this green color down the front. This is not something that's in the original, but it doesn't have to be. You can do it any way you want to be. And it's different looks. So this particular look is just an absolutely plain normal sweater, and then you have all this stuff at the shoulder, and that's fine. This one is drawing in the color a little more throughout the whole sweater, and what I'm getting ready to do, because I'm doing another version, and I'll explain that a little bit further on. And it's really hard for me to remember whether I've told you something before or whether it was in the other 4 times I've done this, because each time I would get one done, I would get ready to edit it, and then something would come up and I couldn't edit it, and then information had changed, or I'd gotten further along. So, and I was going to, I'll do that later. I was going to show you something else. In fact, I may stop and go pull up something I was going to show you after we talk about this, because this is a chat session too. So, anyway, so what I did with this is one version, was to have this color, and it was a cardigan version, so it was different. What I'm getting ready to do for the new version I'm doing, along with the knit along, is I'm going to take this part of the pattern, I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to put it right after the rib. So here, so there'll be another pattern here. And then between here and there, I'm going to be doing lice, which is, if you don't know what lice is, R, I guess. I mean, the real word of lice, anyway. It's where you put like a single color. It's like you will knit 5 stitches. Yeah, 5 stitches. You'll knit 5 stitches of the plain background. In this case, it would, if I'd done it here, would have been purple. And then 1 stitch, I would have done the green. 1 stitch of green, and then 5 stitches of purple, and then 1 stitch of green. And then you do like 5 rows plain. And then you do, where the 5 stitches are, you'll line and see it's like purple, green here and green here on the 5 stitches. The next time you do it, you'll do on those 5 stitches, you'll do your color in the middle stitch, and then do 5. In other words, the color is staggered. I should say that. The 1 color stitch is staggered. So it actually, then not only do you have the little tie-in of the color on the body of the sweater, you'll have a tie-in of a pattern on the body of the sweater. So it's just a little bit different. So what, and then here I should show you this. This is, I'm sure you've seen before, this is the original coloration of Daddy's request, which is originally done, I'm sure you've heard this story before, but I don't remember whether it was on my the three other times I've done this, is my father, when I started to learn how to knit and decided I needed to make a sweater, I wanted to do something for my dad. So I got him to go down with me to the yarn shop, which was really kind of fun. And which is a tiny little place in Columbia, South Carolina, that, and it was really small. I mean, then she packed a lot of yarn in that tiny little place. And we shouldered among everybody else, kind of looking at patterns and things, and he picked out a pattern that he liked, which was a yoked, I think it was a Lopi pattern, so it was an Icelandic pattern with the thicker yoke Lopi yarn. I'm not, forgive me because I'm not 100% sure. I haven't even pulled out my necklaces. Oh, just a second. The Lopi pattern, their yarns, but it's kind of like thin pencil roving. It's not real twisted. And I knew nothing about gauge. I mean, every single time I had made a sweater, I had either bought it from somebody who said, I want to make this sweater, and they said, well, you can use this yarn, not realizing that the yarn that they were sending me to was the yarn on the gauge of the pattern. I just thought I could just pick out yarn. So instead of Lopi yarn, I picked out, it was a rustic sort of yarn, but it was a worsted weight yarn. Bottom line, it didn't fit. So I put it in a closet, and years later pulled it out. You know, it wasn't going to fit Dad, but I finished it up for myself. And I lost the pattern, so I had to make it up. You know, finishing all this up, I had to make it up. So it was fun. So anyway, now there's something I just thought I would say about that, but I don't remember what it is now. But anyway, so that was just so I could have a sweater. It's when I got hooked on color work. I think that was probably after I got hooked on color work with the classes with Alice Starmore and things. But I had taught a class if you guys know, I've got a retreat at Canuga, which is a Episcopal Conference grounds up here. I do a retreat every Martin Luther King weekend. And this past time we had about 100 participants, 30-something of which were quilters. I had about 10 staff, 9 staff, 30 quilters, 50-some-odd knitters. Yeah, that works out to about 100. It was like 100 right at 100. Somebody suggested that they wanted to, I had on this sweater, and they said they wanted to make that sweater. And I thought, oh wow, so I had to reverse engineer it, and that came up with this one, and now this one, and now we'll do a knit along for this, because it really is the next step after you've done some stranded work for scarves and gloves and or mittens and things. It's a garment, but it works pretty quickly because of the worsted weight of it, and it's a nice sweater to wear when you it like today, it's chilly outside, but it's not heavy coat weather, so you can put on the sweater, and because it's foggy and slightly rainy, I can put on a raincoat. That's good. A raincoat, and keep the warmth in, and it works out nicely. And now I'm rambling about the sweater. It's a great sweater. Period. I should just stop. So the reason this is later is because the version the reason I had to do this 3 or 4 times is the version that I'm going to do is out of Elemental Effects. I think I'm going to do Civility, which has, I think I asked for Civility yarn, which has some silk in it. So I've got 3 now sort of rustic type sweaters of this pattern. I figured I would do one that was a little more upscale. Now, that being said, when I do the first session, and I'll get to that in just a second, but I was talking to Jean DeCoster at Elemental Effects, and I said, that's what I'm thinking of doing, and she had talked about having kits put together for each one of the sweaters, and I mean for you guys, if you wanted to have a kit of either her Civility or her Cormo, both of which are not cheap yarns. I mean, if you want a rustic sort of sweater, this was done out of Cascade 220, this part of it. This was stash yarn. But if you want something that's sort of elegant and kind of, nice, but a little, it's sort of a hollow springy yarn, if that makes any sense, the yarn of it. And she says, have you checked the gauge? Because it knits up a little bit differently. And I was like, shades of working this beginning. I don't know, it's yarn, you just make it. You just put it together. Who knew? My fault. She says, you might want to check the gauge. Just, that's a thank you, Jean. So anyway, she got so excited. And so she's sending me some yarn to kind of check the gauge at, so that way I can, at least when I recommend the kits for this, I can say how much yarn it was. Unfortunately, I was all ready to go with this a week ago, last Friday. I had a video shot, a video uploaded, not just in the can, not just edited on my machine, uploaded to YouTube. All I had to do is push the public button and it would have gone out. I had something written for my group on Ravelry. I had pictures selected to post on Instagram to say, this knit along's going, like every week, this knit along's going long, check it out. All ready to go. And so I called her to say, by the way, I'm all ready to go. I just wanted to tell you what colors that I had selected and make sure there's not any problems with getting kits and, the colors. And she said, well, I'm right in the middle of teaching at Stitches. So those of you who are at Stitches, I think it was Southern California Stitches. If you had classes with Jean DeCoster, I'm jealous because I'm going to take one with her at Stitches United in June. I guess it's first part of June, really. So I'm excited about that. But she said, I'm not at home. I can't she's a dyer, so I can't get it out to you. And I was like, great. So I have put in the order first part of this week, and I'm still waiting for the yarn to come in. She didn't get back, I think, probably until Tuesday or so. So I'm just kind of waiting for her to get that together to me. But that's delayed us even more, and that's why I'm frustrated. It's my own problem. Own fault. I should have gotten some yarn and worked on it and figured out whether the gauge was going to be right. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem because we used some of her yarn for the hat we made for Canuga this last January, and they got gauged and it was fine. But I just wanted to make sure and make it right. So that being said, these are kits. They're a little higher end. As I said, there'll be a discount for anyone working on the knit along. There will be, and then when I re-release the pattern's all ready to go too. Pattern's ready to go with the update with the cardigan version in it and everything, all ready to go. I've even talked to people about giving prizes. So, and I don't know how to do all this. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. Just do what I think I should do. So, that's the deal. I am going, so we will announce, when you see this, I will hopefully, if not over the weekend, because today's Friday, I'm going to try to get this up and going tomorrow, or later on this afternoon, if my computer will behave, later on this afternoon, so that we'll start the knit along, and we will let it go till probably the end of April. That should give us that'll give us 8 weeks to get all this done, and it's not that bad. The only thing that will slow you down is the knitting from the bottom to the yoke is boring as all get out. That's the only thing that you're like, seriously, you have to do any more to this. Because the construction of it, I'm all over the place here. I am so sorry. But maybe you follow me along. Maybe you could follow me. You could rack it back and just kind of see where I've gone. Or you could make a mind map of my talking. She went here, and then she went over there. Then she went back over here. Then she went back over there. Sorry. This is made from the bottom cast on. I'm going to try to calm down here. To the underarm for both the body and the sleeves. And then you put the sleeves and the body together. You can, sleeve, body, sleeve, it's in this case, it would be back sleeve, front sleeve, and then you're back at the back. Because this, I've said this many times and they've gotten it backwards. It starts at the back right, sort of where the sleeve and the body connect. Now for the cardigan, it starts in the front, obviously. So when you put the sleeves and the body, when you put it all on one needle, and that's what you do. You put them all on one needle. I never said that. Sorry. I'm apology woman. Did you hear that? Did you get that? All right. Anyway, you put the body, the left half. You put the right half, just like I said, the right half, the right sleeve, the back, then the left sleeve, and then the left front. And that's how you line them up on your needle with the steek in the middle. And we have a steek in this one. This one right here will, go through a steek right there. And then you knit around and you do decreases at various points to make it come in to the neck, which is, it's like, I think it's right here or here, I forget which. You decrease a quarter. So you knit two together. So you're making 4, you knit 2 and then knit 2 together. So you're making 4 stitches into 3. So you're losing 1/4 of the stitches. And then up in here, you decrease by 1/3. So you knit 1. Hello. You knit 1, knit 2 together. So you are losing 1/3 of the stitches. So you decrease by 1/3. And then up here at the neck, you decrease by, I think it is 2/5, because it's knit 1. Yeah, knit 1. No, let's see, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2 together. So that is, so you start out with 5 and you end up with 3. So you decrease by 2/5. That's what you do, and it gets up to the neck area. Now, I'm not going to leave you alone on this. But it goes, oh no, she's going to knock it. Why don't you just leave us alone and let us knit? I'm not going to leave you alone because I'm going to be doing a series of videos on putting the thing together. And and I will try to get that shot tomorrow. So I'll try to put the first one of those up. I'll put both of those up. Hopefully get all this done by Sunday. They should all be up on YouTube and on my website. So it depends on how you find the videos. The first episode, and I haven't gotten this written down, but we'll go through with all the episodes. The first one we'll walk through the pattern. I don't have any yarn, but we'll talk about various yarns you can use. I'll show you my colorway that I'm going to use, and I'll show you the other colorways I chose of Jean's yarn, which, as I said, is this gorgeous yarn. And I've got Civility. No, I think I've got Civility or Cormo. I forget. Cormo, obviously. Civility is a combination of something that I should know and silk. Both of them are just gorgeous yarns. So that there's that. There is, and then we'll walk through the pattern on how you put it together. Again, much like what I talked about here, but how you put it together. Then in future episodes, we'll just go through process. We'll talk about from the body up, and I'll probably skip 2 weeks between the cast on and when we get, or I'll probably do it'll take us longer to get through the body. We may have 3 episodes on the body, on kind of what we're doing. I'll show you how my process, by that time I'll have some yarn, we'll have some process on what I'm doing with my embellishment of taking this and turning it upside down, and we'll see about, and if you're interested in that, you can watch me do that. And then we'll talk about putting them all on one needle, and we'll literally walk through how they are put on the needle in the order I was talking about, because I'm going to do another cardigan. Just because I've got 2 pullovers, why not have 2 cardigans? Let's just make it even. And then we'll go through the different decreases all the way up, and then at the end we'll talk about the cutting of the steek for those of you doing cardigans, and then securing the steeks, the steek stitches, the steek flap as I call it. So you have a steek that's together like this, and you cut it, and it's 10 stitches. The 2 thumb stitches are purl stitches. That's how I do steeks. Purl stitches. You have 4 knits in the middle. What I did was I did it after the fact because I cut this one in class, and it was fine. But I kind of like the idea of having, you can see that red going down. That red was supposed to be this pink, but I did it at night and couldn't tell the difference between the colors because it was darkish, and so, but it's red, so that's fine. It's actually better for you to see. I did a crocheted chain up for an added secure. I'm not sure I needed to do that because I could have just stitched it down with a cross stitch, and we'll talk about that too. But what I normally do is I will take the V's. So why did that look right? What I do is I would take, if you're cutting it between the 5th and the 6th, those two stitches, if you're cutting between the two, I would take the leg of the you can do it any different ways, but the right leg of one stitch and the left of the other, of these two stitches here, and over here, you do a crochet chain up the side, and then you cut in the middle, and then it's not going anywhere. We'll talk about picking up stitches for the front bands. And then, as I said, blocking and wearing it. Yay. So that's what's planned video-wise. And since this is another chat session, I'll save that for later. I'm working on a scarf, a shawl. Let me do that really quickly because it's fun. Hold on just a second. Okay, there we go. Back again. I just remembered a whole bunch of things I need to talk to you about. I was so upset about not getting this knit-along up that I forgot about other things I want to talk about. I've got 3 patterns at the tech editor. Tabitha's Heart, Tabitha, who does that, she's my tech editor. And she's got 3 patterns. So hopefully I'll get those back pretty soon and can release these patterns. One of which is one that you may have seen before. It's called a Canoga Lake hat. And this is a slouch hat that has a nice top with it. Let me take the glasses off because this is, it's my standard slouch hat, which I really love because they just seem to fit better. And they look good going on too, don't you think? You have that sort of cat in the hat kind of look, when you do it. Anyway, this is, what I like about these is it provides a little bit of width at the top as well. So anyway, it's kind of like a tam, but not as floppy as a tam, if that makes any sense. And you can pull it rakishly over to the side. You can do, anyway, but this is the Canoga Lake hat and this pattern comes in 2 versions. There is the did I just show you no. This is the fingering weight version, and this is the DK weight version, which is the same kind of thing that, has the great, thing like this. So that you get the accent, have I got a yarn? No, I don't. Oh, gosh. You get the accent color right around your head, so it gives the nice little color right to your face. So it's really nice. And then, oh, that was my glasses that went, oh, well, okay, you get the crazy tumbling here. The other one I'm releasing as soon as it gets back from the tech editor is this Harkstoke gauge mittens, which is I only have one of, but mitten like this, and this is made with from the I like the thumb. The thumb is kind of cool. It reminds me of I said I've got some mitts and what's that thing called? A cowl that is called Knight's Banner because it looked like Knight's. The banners that when you have the knights and you have the tournaments and things, you have all the tents. It kind of looked like one of the tents, and this kind of looks like one of their flags as well. So Harkstoke, it needed a noble name. So Harkstoke gauge, and a gauge is another word for gauntlet in armor. This is not, you get the point, but anyway. So and it has some wrist shaping here, And then I'm looking for, and well, it has a little bit of an edge on the inside and a little bit of picot around the top here. I'm looking for some cashmere or alpaca in black to make a liner for it. And what I will do is I will undo this and just pick up stitches along that cast on edge, and then make the thing actually go like this, and then you can put it inside out, and it'll keep it extra special warm, which I'm excited about. The third one I'm releasing finally, and for Janet and Laura and anybody who asked about it, finally I'm getting Salute Sunrise written up so that it can be released. And Salute Sunrise is a shawl that is a long rectangular shawl in, if this is in Knit One Crochet 2's Elfin Tweed, which a friend of mine and I decided to sound like a character from Lord of the Rings. I'm Elfin Tweed. But anyway, so, but that's right, and that is knitted completely in the round with a steek. So it's kind of interesting. Once you don't start with the border, you start with a provisional cast on, and then you work in the round, and that's all that you're working in the round. It's just that, and it's very repetitive. Once you can almost memorize it. It's a little too much to memorize, but you can almost, because you go, oh, that's the row I do this on. I remember that now. But you do this over, and it just goes on and 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 on, and then you do the border, and then you go back to the other side and pick up stitches. You pick up your provisional stitches that were right there and knit the other border the same way. So that way both borders, both edges are knitted in the same direction so that they work the same way. And then you cut up the steek and pick up stitches and do this little, I love this picot border, can you tell? It goes up and over, and then you sew it down here, and so that the cut steek is totally encased in here, so it won't go anywhere. So that's cool. And then the other shawl I'm working on right now, because I think it became a shawl, is this one. I showed this. This is the one I'm working on for June, along with Daddy's request for the knit along. That's what I'm working on, and this is a shawl that I'm calling Familiars, and it's because of, can you see the bear in there? And it's got little animals hidden all the way through it. I've got a bear, I've got a raccoon. You can almost see the raccoon. I may move him around. This is just a swatch. So I may move him around. Where is he? Yeah. I may move him around. Can you see him? There are his two eyes with the mask. There are his two front legs and his tail coming up here. I just haven't quite finished his head and the end of his tail yet. So there's a little raccoon. But I may move him around to someplace else because now I've got a long shawl to put them on. But I've got an elk with an antlers. What is this, show and tell? Charades? Antlers. Sorry. And a squirrel and birds, a falcon. I mean, a hawk. And a cat, obviously. Maybe a Celtic dog I might put in. I've got a pattern for a Celtic dog that's very long and lean, so I may put it in one of those long things. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Is I just finished last night taking these patterns and making them in a set width, because you see how they repeat here, but I want to make sure that these repeats down here are going to fit into this repeat, and these repeats will fit in, and so you have to do some adjusting with the patterns themselves to make them all kind of fit in. All right, enough of the fooling with the hair. Thank you so much for joining me. And this has been a little crazy, but I'm excited and frustrated and everything. So by Sunday, I've got to say it out loud so I won't go back on it. Not that you can hear me now, but by Sunday, all of this stuff will be out. And we'll start Daddy's request. I'll get yarn. All will be well. And we'll go from here. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. You can find out, just so look for the, see, I have to answer it sometimes. Look for the, if you got the pattern, look for an updated pattern. If you don't have the pattern, there'll be a discount on the pattern to purchase the Daddy's Request pattern. And then these new patterns, I will put, as I release those, I'll put a discount on those for a short period of time for as a new release. I have, look at my group on Ravelry, which is Designs by Varian Brandon, or Varian Brandon Designs, something like that. And I've got a write-up all ready to go in about the knit-along. Look for another video series on the Daddy's Request knit-along. So, hell up for that, guys. So, thanks, guys. I'm off to edit to get this out. I promise. Bye-bye.